All right, we're back. Didn't realize that went so long. I apologize for that. We talked about Robespierre just a little bit ago. We were talking. Actually, before we get to there, let me come back to this. This is a picture, an engraving taken. There's Louis the Fourth or Louis the 16th's head right there. Whenever they kill somebody, they put their head up to show the crowd, which is kind of cool, kind of morbid as well. There's Marie's head. They put her up on a pike, put her up on a stake there, just catching her blood. Gonna serve the peasants tomato soup, or maybe an Antoinette soup. I don't know. That sounds disgusting, but you're hungry enough, you'll eat anything. Okay. Oh, poor guy. A face only a mother could maybe love. I don't know. Get hit by a big 2x4. It's like an 8x12, not a 2x4. Okay. George Danton leads. Obviously, that's an American version of his name. Leads the Committee of Public Safety. Well, these guys did. Anybody who was an opponent, anybody, even if you were suspected of being an opponent, you could be sent to the guillotine. Okay, this is where that number rises so much to 30, 40,000 people. Even Robespierre ends up dying by guillotine. They suspect him of being anti-revolutionary. He's lost his zeal, and they murder him. They kind of set him up, and he finds his way to the guillotine. Okay, in comes Napoleon. Not Napoleon Dynamite. Napoleon does not own a llama named Tina. Does not have an Uncle Rico. To my knowledge, does not dance very well. Okay. Also, Napoleon, you may have heard this. He's a short guy. He's known as the Little Corporal. Napoleon is not short. He's 5'7". He's an average height male for 1800 France. History tells him or remembers him as being small because the British end up winning in the end. And the British measuring system made Napoleon a little bit shorter than what he actually was, so they called him the Little Corporal. He's not short. He's an average-sized guy. Okay, he's not buried in a shoebox. Okay, he's not going to be on Little People Big World with the Roloff family anytime soon out there in Washington. But he's short. He's not Coach Sturgeon. He's not Zen Mahalski. He's an average-sized guy. Okay. Napoleon's a military leader born in Corsica, comes back from Egypt in the late 1700s, and Napoleon ends up executing a coup d'etat. It's an overthrow of the government, and becomes the leader, and eventually will name himself dictator in 1801, 03. Named himself dictator for life, emperor for life. Crowns himself, has the church come, the Pope takes the crown from the Pope, puts it on his own head. He's above the church kind of thing, was the symbolism that he was exhibiting there. One thing Napoleon does, Napoleon actually finds, it's on his expedition in Egypt, that we find the Rosetta Stone. The Rosetta Stone, if you remember from very, very early in the year, is what we use to decipher hieroglyphics. Jean Champollion will discover what the hieroglyphics mean later in life. That stone, the Rosetta Stone, was found on Napoleon's expedition in the late 1790s there in Egypt. Now, Napoleon is going to try to make some reforms before he completely screws up in about a decade. The Napoleonic Code, which hopes to simplify the law system. There's some education reforms, some social reforms. Napoleon's kind of ahead of his time in that regard. He does some very very helpful things to the French society. He eliminates the estate system. There's no more one vote, no more first, second, and third estate. You gotta remember, he's the top. The church is not any more powerful than he is. He is the man during France, during the 1800s, the first 10 years of the 1800s. Here's his empire. Oh, excuse me. You see France here. It's got present-day Holland, Belgium, a lot of this area here. This will be Germany. Germany's not yet together. We will not have a unified Germany or a unified Italy until the 1870s. That's going to come in the nationalism unit, which I believe is after the revolutions unit. You got Russia out here, Great Britain. Those are his big enemies. Portugal's an enemy of his for religious and political reasons. One of the things Napoleon's going to do is on the next slide here, he'll have a continental system. Think of that as a naval blockade around England, like kind of like this area that I'm kind of drawing here with the mouse. Okay, the continental system. All right, there it is. The hope, what his hope is that by banning British goods, that the people will buy they'll start to resent and they'll buy local goods to be able to take over Europe. But what happens is this embargo, when you eliminate other nations' goods that you've depended upon, your goods tend to go up and people don't have access to the goods that they want. This happens throughout history many times. There's been some talk of embargoes during the Trump administration. There was talk of embargoes during the Obama administration. Don't get me started on, you're just anti-Trump. Well, I am. They may have heard me talk. Let's not go down that rabbit hole right now. But every country, every government, every so often, embargoes come up. Okay, it ends up hurting Napoleon. It really does. And then in the late 1800s, like 1810, 1811, he invades Russia. He starts to invade Russia. Summer of 1812, I believe it is. He invades Russia. Big mistake. You don't invade Russia. Okay. There is one exception to that rule. The Mongols invaded Russia and won. Genghis Khan was able to take over, and the Golden Horde, Horde, up there in what today is present-day Russia, is really founded by the Mongolians, by Genghis Khan, his descendants. You don't go, oh, look at Napoleon. Have lost the war. I'm so sad, huh? He's his daddy bull. He gets exiled twice. How does that work? First time we see him to Saint Helena Island. Sorry, we see him to Elba Island, which is off the coast of France. He comes back, and then he's finally exiled out in the North Pacific Ocean, St. Helena Island, and there's no returning. He dies there, probably died of cancer years later. Okay, so Napoleon's done. We've had this crazy overthrow of France. We've gotten rid of the monarchy. The people have ran it. We've killed thousands of people by guillotine, political enemies. Napoleon's come in, stabilized things, got a little too big for his britches there in Europe. What's going to happen next? What happens is we have what's known as the Congress of Vienna. It's a group. It's a bunch of people coming together. What we want is a balance of powers. Okay, we want to have this nice balance of powers. And the leader of this meeting is Prince Metternich of Austria. He heads this thing up. We restore the monarchies. The borders are redrawn in Europe. We don't want to have France be too powerful. We don't want anybody to be too powerful. And for 100 years, this works out really well. From the end of the Napoleonic Wars up until the outbreak of World War I in 1914, there's no major wars in Europe. The one that we do have is in I'm trying to load up on my computer, 1856, and I cannot remember the dadgum name of it. Crimean. Thank you, myself. Thank you, Google. Good job, Google. You're the man. Don't catch coronavirus. What will we do without you? The Crimean War in the 1850s is the only war that Europe is fighting in that continent. Okay. Now we have the American Civil War. The War of 1812 takes place towards the end of the Napoleonic Wars. There's fighting, but there's not a major war. It works out what becomes known as the Concert of Europe. Now, you guys don't know music because you listen to things like DaBaby and Justin Bieber. So I know concerts might be something like, I don't understand it. Where's the beatbox? And where's the dude who doesn't have teeth and had no education talking to me about stupid things? That's what your music is. Let's not go down this rabbit hole. The Concert of Europe becomes this ebb and flow. Everybody's working together like a musician. You got the bassist, the lead guitar, the rhythm guitar, the drummers, the singers, the percussion, the woodwinds. It's all working together as a concert. Okay, that's what happens in Europe. So for the next 100 years, things are pretty peaceful, right? And the borders end up being redrawn about like so. You got the German Confederation there now. France has been reduced. Russia's gained some territory. Again, Italy and Germany are not countries yet. They got another about 50 years until that happens. And that's a quick one-day introduction to the French Revolution. Okay. Hopefully you've gotten this printed out. You were able to take these notes. You've watched it on the Edpuzzle. I'm going to check with Mr. Russell. If he does Edpuzzles, this will go up on Edpuzzle. If he does not do Edpuzzle, we'll post it on Classroom, and we'll just trust you guys to get the work done. Okay. As for Edpuzzles go, talking to Mr. Russell, watch the videos. Okay, that's going to be a grade. Watch the videos. That's what you got to do. We can see if you've watched it or not. Watch the dadgum videos. Okay. Questions? Feel free to email. Hit me up on the internet. Do what you got to do. Keep on keeping on. Stay indoors. Stay Corona free. Don't drink Corona. You're not old enough. Don't catch Corona. It's bad. I've heard about it. I've read about it on the news. It's bad stuff. Okay. You guys stay cool. Check you later. Cool cats and kittens.